Okay, year seven, so we're on to part two of your task. So hopefully you've done your net diagram for the pool. You've figured out the surface area of all surfaces, and you've added all those together. You found the area of one tile, and then you found out how many tiles you need to tile the pool. So that's part one. Part two is asking you about the space you're currently in and picking a room in the space you're in. There's a house, apartment, hotel, and painting it, and how much of that would cost. So step one of this is to measure the room you're in. So get out a ruler or an app on your phone and start measuring the room you are in. Now you'll have to measure the length of the floor area, and that'll be the same as the ceiling, so you don't need to get up on any chairs or ladders and measure the ceiling. You will have to paint the ceiling though. If you can't reach up and want to measure the height of the room, you can estimate that. That isn't part of the challenge that is going to be overly assessed. You can estimate based on how far up as you can reach and maybe doubling that height or something like that. As long as you justify whatever sort of estimation you've made, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so once you've measured the room, now you need to do a net diagram, like I did for the pool. So you may have copied this or come up with your own one. This time you need to unfold the sides of your room. So I don't know what your room looks like, so you're going to have to need to take photos of your room and include them in any report that you do when you do upload it on May 4th. You have to take photos and then also draw the net diagram. So the ceiling would be the bit in the middle, this would be the ceiling, and then the bits would fold down, the bits you're going to paint would fold down off that. Okay, so it might be a slightly different shape because it might have some corners, maybe different, and you'd have to deal with that. How would you deal with a corner if there was a little nook or cranny here? What way would the net diagram be affected? Maybe you would have something like that, so it would fold up. That's for you to figure out how you would do that. On this diagram then include all your measurements. Do it in meters, so you might have 0 point some meters in some of it, but do everything in meters for this part of the task. So remember, 60 centimeters, you'd have to convert it to meters, divide by 100. So it'd be 0.6. So that would be on the diagram. So that's part two. After you've measured part one, draw the diagram. Part two, put the measurements on it. Part three then asks for the total area then of all surfaces. That means you have to work out the area of all these surfaces. So more than likely most people will have 5 surfaces to get the area of these 5 surfaces. You'll have to get the area of them. Remember, the area of a triangle or a rectangle is length times width. Some of these surfaces might have a door or a window cut out of them. Do we need to paint that? No. Well, then we need to remove it from the surface area. So you might need to get the area of that and subtract it from any surface area. I'd be looking for evidence that you've done that in your calculations. The last part then, after you've calculated the total surface area by adding all these things together, is calculate how much paint you would need to paint the room. 1 can of paint takes 2.5 meters. Will paint 2.5 meters squared of the room. So if your room is 5 meters squared, that means you need 2 cans of paint, wouldn't you? The cost of paint is 135,000 rupiah. So that's per can. So how many cans would you buy and why? Would there be paint left over? What way would you do it? So that would be your final answer then for part 4. How many cans of paint would you buy? So if you have any questions, just let me know, and off you go.